drink really fast so that way I don't have to do it when we actually start. I just gotta cut these off. I like these Sonic drink packets because they're zero sugar. I like to mix them. Like mix them up, do like a Okay. Alrighty. Come on. It's fair. That's alright. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and unmute and then switch scenes. Oh, you could hear me the entire time. Oops. Oh, that's fair. Oopsie. My bad. You are now unmuted.
That's wonderful.
Oh, God. Get a little bit of commentary into my antics before we actually start stream. It's okay. It's fine. We're all fine.
We're all fine.
Oh my God.
I'd be tempted to leave that in when I have to edit
the
things with the podcast.
I mean, it's Thursday evening in the beginning of second semester. That's where my brain, like, you can see the difference in my progress of, like, I've been running behind this entire time. And then it's like, I take half a dozen dishes into the kitchen, and then I feel guilty about all the dishes, the ones that I currently have in the sink, and the current ones I'm taking into the kitchen. So I have to do spur of the moment dishes. And then I'm like, and then I just don't mute my mic.
We actually started?
Yeah, we've been started. I think we were started when I was shaking up my drink.
Why is it with the camera? Like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. I took our camera off because I'm like, you know what? Let's just go for it.
All right, hey
guys.
Hi. I don't know what's going on.
Oh my God, it's Friday Eve, everybody. God. Friday Eve.
Yep. Oh, it's so nice. Not that I really can tell the differences. I never take a night off, but...
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Alright, so new developments with me in Earthquaking. 1, I love the book. I'm really enjoying it. 2, I've actually started annotating, and I have color codes. So I have some quotes that I'll read, because they're really good. So, like, yellow is, like, spiritual, like, God, kind of, like, Bible lessons. I forgot what green is, but we'll figure it out when I get there. And then this one, orange is like, I relate so much kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think part of it was like, 1, it started off like a little slower, and 2, it was kind of like, it reminds me of when I went from like Cyclone, which was that military romance that was like bad. I went from that, and I had just to Serpent in the Wings of Night, and then I went back from that to a Christian military romantic suspense. And I really had to, like, switch my brain to, like, because they were 2 completely different things. And I think that's part of what happened here. And then when I got past the slow part and I adjusted to the subgenre difference, the story picked up, like, and then it's just, like, it like, I got into it from there. So, I also got her new version of Anna's Alien, so the updated version on my Kindle.
Ooh.
And so I read it. I don't know. Oops. That's her other books. Okay, cover. So I went through and I like compared all the little illustrations. So this is the new cover.
Sweet.
And I just watched her YouTube video about the differences and how she wanted the green background and like the lettering. I don't know if you can tell in the image very well, but it pops out. Like it has that pop out kind of effect. And she made the necklace like bigger, and her signature is her like actual official signature now.
Oh, sweet.
And so, yeah, and some of the new illustrations are, like, amazing. And then the writing in the opening sequence because I read the opening sequence again because there was a lot of differences, and that one is, like, so much tighter. And, like, I can tell it's, like, her now writing, which all authors have that, like, you know, where you start off at versus where you are now.
Yeah.
But I'm legitly having fun. It's, like, these last chapters has been, like, nonstop. Just, these kids keep getting themselves into trouble. Yeah. And, they're teenagers, so it's actually kind of fascinating for me to like how they have to think their way through things because they're not these skilled epic warriors that can do everything, and it's so much more, I guess, real, like grounded and like realistic and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's been fun.
Cool.
How are you with Harry Potter?
I'm enjoying it. It's kind of interesting because with teaching, I haven't had a lot of time just to like sit down and read during the day. So I've done a lot of like read when I can, and then a lot of like audiobook listening, and then following a lot like as I'm doing like making dinner and stuff like that. And like one thing I think I was talking to you about it before stream, but something that like I find really interesting, there's like certain parts that I wasn't expecting to be kind of like a little bit more dark, a little more serious. Like I'm like, oh, like I even got feels at one point for like these just background characters, and I'm like, oh goodness. And it's just like, you know, with the whole the World Cup scene, and like there's like one specific little snippet in that scene that I'm like, oh, that's kind of dark, not gonna lie. And I'm like, like, okay, we're not playing around. And then it's like, and then there's times where in this year there's the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher is Mad-Eye Moody. I forget his full name, but and it's like he is the new teacher. And as I'm sure a lot of people are aware of, Draco's not the most welcoming person in the world. And the main three are kind of like the main protagonists of the story. And Draco's constantly making fun of them or picking at them or saying things that are rude, or like he makes jokes about Ron's mom at one point and her size and stuff like that. And it's like it's very easy to see that he's being the bully in that situation. And it's like, as a child, I probably would have sided more with the main three, in the sense, like, I don't it's one of those things, like, I'm not really making sides now, but it's like, I wouldn't have seen anything wrong with it if I were to have read it when I was younger. But with the context of me actually being a teacher and reading scenes from a school, and I get it, it's not the exact same. And I'd like to at least experience really what like the atmosphere of a UK school feels like, because I don't really, cause being in the US, I don't understand fully what the atmospheric difference between the two would be. But it's like, I can, like, when I think about my students, I think about the perspective of, yes, they're all, whoa, my computer just like lagged there for a second. But like, like, all of my students have different personalities, and they're not all going to get along. They're not all going to like each other. And some of them are just going to clash. Even when you try to partner them up, it's just not going to work. And they will refuse to do that. They will refuse to work because they just don't like each other. And I get that. And it's like, I love all of my students regardless of the mistakes they make or what they do. And it's like, sometimes that's hard because I get really irritated at them. But I would, but there's like times where, like, I'm thinking one scene in particular is like when, like, it's kind of more like a well-known scene where Draco gets turned into a ferret by Moody. And he's essentially like running around terrified, and he gets changed back. And eventually McGonagall comes in. And this is where I honestly, like, I have a lot of respect for her in this scene, because she comes in and she doesn't excuse Draco's behavior, but at the same time, she's like essentially goes at this teacher, Moody, and was like, you can't do this. That is a student. You can't do that. And it's like, I don't know. Yeah. It's like, from like, as I'm reading it, it's like I am definitely reading it from a teacher perspective, and it cracks me up because I'm like, and it's funny because with my 6th graders, we were talking about like the first lessons we have for the quarter, because my 6th grade class switches each quarter. And so one of the first lessons we talk about is like, we're setting up these classroom guidelines where they get to make classroom rules and all that kind of stuff. And we watch a video, like an older video from Kid President, and there's one line that, like, the day that I was listening to this and kind of listening to it while my dinner was cooking, was the day that we watched that video. And there's a quote from that video where Kid President was like, don't bully the bullies, it just makes more bullies. And it's like, it's like, in that moment, it's like, I'm not saying this because I've seen a lot of the Draco fan art, and it's like, but what I'm saying is, is that, like, bullying him and embarrassing him in front of everybody, and the teacher crossing that line, and essentially all but like it was like a few fries away from can we consider like tormenting this kid, and it's like that's not going to solve the situation. Like, as much as the main three want Draco to actually act halfway decent, doing those things aren't going to help. And it's like, it's a really weird situation because Draco is definitely not helping the situation either because he's being a total brat. And it's like, he literally said something about their mother at one point, and it was like talking about how she was like fat, and it's like, you know, and then Harry speaks up and says that his mom smells like face looks like she smelt crap. And it's like they're just middle school kids, and that's where I'm like, you know what? they're just freshmen. That's like what it feels like. I'm like, they're just 8th graders that are at each other's throats all the time and just speak without thinking. And it's like, it just feels like I'm just at school again. Like, this is just what we're, and it's just, I don't know, but I know, it was like really interesting, and I had like a little bit of an epiphany, and I'm like, huh, that's interesting. But yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, and I'm like 32% of the way through, so I'm getting progress.
You're making progress. Yeah, I don't get updates on Goodreads as much with the new app, but okay, I'm trying to find, okay, so the first thing, the first quote that really hit, okay, she, like, they kind of get separated, and I think this is when she ends up in this cave alone, and they each have these necklaces that were given to them by the 4 makers of Anathalion, and supposedly the necklaces, each one is associated with a different element, and they don't, like, we don't know which one goes to which kid or which necklace and that sort of thing. And a couple of them, like Ella and Andrew, have mentioned that they've been able to hear the maker and the necklaces talk to them, but they don't know quite what it is or who's communicating or why. It's just like it kind of seemed to parallel like us getting guidance by the Holy Spirit, and she's kind of like wanting to feel or hear something too, and she's cold and she's alone and she's scared, and she was grabbing the necklace and it was feeling warm, and it was kind of like warming her up and comforting it. And it said the heat on her skin hushed her negative thoughts and reminded her that even if she couldn't hear or see the necklace, it was still with her. It had not left her alone. And that line hit me because it's like parallel with the Holy Spirit and how, like, God, we can't always see him or feel it when we never get to see him, but we never, sometimes we don't feel him, but he never leaves us alone in times when we're in the dark and we're alone. And it just, it hit me so hard. I was like, oh, I love it. And then it goes on to, she's good at the spiritual parallels. They hit hard, and I'm like, we got some spiritual lessons here. So she's reminding herself what the necklace looks like, which hers is the one with the red one that I showed you on the cover of Anathalion with the dragon in the middle. And she said she realized that she had heard Hux, the maker of hers, and she's like, he had been reminding her and guiding her the whole time that she had worn the necklace. Now, instead of trying to hear a voice, she had tried to wipe away every thought and remember what the golden dragon looked like. I don't know, I just liked the way that she's like, even though he had been there the whole time, kind of thing. And then in one part that I related to, she said more than she didn't want to feel crazy or embarrassed, she just didn't want to be alone. And I'm like, I don't do alone very well, so that hit hard for me because I related to that a lot. Okay, so one thing that I liked, the green one, is like, so because, okay, Heather lives in the same state that we do, and so because of that, like, the main character Kendall is from Missouri, and so she's been trying to explain sometimes to Ella what Missouri and like where she lives in this world Earth is like, and Ella, I guess they've ended up stumbling each other in the cave, and so they're walking trying to find a way out, and she's like, you've never been in a cave? And then Ella kind of tells her, no, we don't have any caves, ours are mostly filled with underwater, and Kendall goes, oh, well, where I'm from, we have lots of caves, and the walls are usually pretty smooth, like the floor is. And she's like, do people in your land have a way to make it smooth? And she's like, well, no. And so she's just explaining like caves in Missouri, and I'm like, oh, I love that because it's like so I'll never forget in the first book, though, the first time she told her she was from Missouri, Ella thought that she was saying misery, and there was like a little joke. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
She's like, "You're from a place called Misery?" And she's like, "No, Missouri." And I'm like,
that's
that is
funny.
The funniest joke. Yeah.
I feel like there's a meme that does that. I am in misery, and it's like a song, but then like they show a picture of Missouri. Yeah, that's what made me think of it. I'm like, oh god, yeah, that's funny.
Okay, so this next quote, they started to get just like they're in the cave, still trying to get out. They've been chased by some bad guys. Kendall's kind of having her doubts, and Ella's given her like encouraging speech. So I'm gonna try to do my best Ella voice because I know what Ella's voice sounds like because I've heard Heather do it several times. And Kendall's like thinking about how, because the bad guy was like, "Give me your necklaces and I'll show you the way out." And so they're kind of debating whether they should listen or not. And Kendall's like, "Let's just give them up. You know, we're never going to find out of here." And so Ella's like, "No, we can never give them up. These necklaces, they've chosen us. They want us to complete the task they have set for us. And if we do not need them, if we could do it all on our own, don't you believe they would not have even come to us at the beginning of all this? If we didn't need them, don't you believe the makers would have chosen a pact more able? We do need them, Ken. We must keep them. They are changing us. I know I can feel the change in me. I've never known and done so much so helpful with this fire. And I know it is not just my doings, Kendall. I know it is whatever power that is in this necklace and the maker connected to it. We do need them, Ken, and we cannot simply go and hand them over because we feel a bit of persuasion or struggle. We cannot be thrown off our course." And her speech was like really good. And it reminded me of like the Patriot quote, like "stay the course." And everything. And she's trying to get Kendall to like start believing in because Kendall doesn't think she's actually hearing from the necklace and like that she can't actually do it and that they're not actually helping her. And Ella's like, they are helping, they are changing us, we can't just give them up. And it's like, it really parallels with God and how like I can see Kendall like representing a character or a person who doesn't really know for sure if God's actually working through them or not. And like, well, I can't do this on my own. And like, is God even helping me? Am I even capable of doing it? And like, is he going to use me for anything? Or am I just useless? You know, that sort of thing. And it's just like, it's so good.
Yeah, it sounds good.
And then there's this huge escape sequence as they tried to leave the cave, and it was so intense. And I felt like I was going through a cave in too, so it was really intense.
Oh yeah.
So.
Okay.
So that's the quote. All right, so the Onyx Storm spoiler.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so apparently
I'll let you give the background. Yes.
Apparently there's some, I don't know which states, which targets, what happened, but apparently there was a handful of targets around within the US that put the Onyx Storm books on shelves early, and some people were able to buy it. And apparently I haven't seen it myself, and I honestly am not going to go looking for it, but apparently somebody was posting spoilers, like essentially spoiled the end, literally spoiled the ending of the book, and posted actual images of full pages of the book. But then I've also seen other people that are at Targets where the books are on the shelf, but when you go to scan them in the self-checkout, it says you can't scan it. It's like it's not available to buy. So it's like, I don't know what is going on with these Targets. And like the drama around the Target version anyway, it just makes me even more irritated at Target right now. And it's like, because I'm not really irritated at Rebecca, like I'm frustrated. But I know that it's just Target wanting to get more sales than Amazon. So I get that. So it's like I've kind of moved on from that a little bit. But it's like this point I'm like, just another negative tally mark with Target for me. And I'm like, and I'm like, these idiots on TikTok that are posting literally spoiling the ending of the book. And I'm like, you know what? I'm glad TikTok's getting banned because I don't have to see you yahoos spoiling the entire book before I can read it. You know what? Yeah, go ahead and ban the book. It's going to be banned 2 days before the book comes out. So you know what? I'm not going to be spoiled because Instagram is nicer to me. I haven't seen hardly anything about Onyx Storm on Instagram right now. So it's like, it's actually being nice to me for once. You know what? Yeah, go ahead and ban TikTok.
Yeah, I'm like, as an author, that really picks me off.
Oh my gosh.
To spoil the book before it's released. And then when you think about it, like, like Target, you know, probably throwing this fit, wanting this exclusive version on their shelf, saying it's not available for pre-order, randomly releasing it in some stores around the country before release day. Like, what?
And you know that
to me is almost more aggravating than anything else, but it's like,
and now
and then the person, like, why would you do this to people?
It's just some worker.
The story before most of the country hasn't had a chance to read it yet.
Yeah,
and there's so mad.
And you know,
fired up about this.
Oh, and you know that one worker, the worker that put them on the shelves, you know that they're fired, because this thing has went viral. And probably not for good reason.
That's the thing.
No, and that's where other Target workers have come on and said that they have strict dates. Like, you're not even supposed to open the box until a specific time. Like, there are legit specifics. So, like, you're not allowed to open the boxes until this specific date. Or, like, this specific time. Like, yeah, like, and it's like, you know, somebody got their butt fired. Like, you know. And it's like, gosh. The one time somebody, like, you go viral for all the wrong reasons. And it's like, yeah. Okay.
It's like, hey, guys, I'm worker, you know, whatever. I'm the one who spoiled everything and put the books out early when they weren't supposed to.
Oh, my gosh. And then there's some people that are trying to buy it. And there was one video that I saw that she literally had 3 to 4 copies in her cart, and went to go try to check them out. And somebody in the comments was like, wasn't commenting on the fact, like, one of the first comments, the biggest, like, most liked comments, wasn't talking about how you couldn't actually buy it, but the fact that she had like 3 or 4 copies in her cart. And she's like, they were for my she was like, something about they were for my friends, I promise. And it's like, I don't care. Let your friends get their own copies. Don't go to a store and buy like 3 or 4 copies of something, of a new release. And that's where it's like, somebody was like, that's what makes me stressed out, is because, like, she's like, if I go and somebody has a bunch of copies in their cart, she said, I'm gonna go to jail. And they're like, I won't survive jail, but I would go there. And I'm like, yeah. And then there's some people. It
reminds me of the Black Friday situation where somebody stole my mom's pins. Like,
oh my gosh!
Right off the checkout thing. I'm like, and now we have this about a book, and it's like, it's not the apocalypse. You don't need to, like, it's not like we're hoarding toilet paper that you're gonna need to stock up on for all your friends and family.
Lord have mercy.
Save some for the rest of us, please. Like, what are these idiots like?
I know.
Oh
I don't get it. Lord. And it's just a mess. The only other thing that I had. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Keep going.
It's just, can you imagine Rebecca Yaros, like...
Oh, yeah. I feel bad.
I'd flag people if you could. Like, I would start flagging people like crazy.
Honestly,
if they started
she probably could have rights to sue Target if she really wanted to.
Probably.
Like, honestly, I doubt that's going to happen, but, you know.
Probably
and it's
not.
like...
not worth the time or the effort or whatever.
Yeah.
But...
Man, I don't know.
Yeah.
I did see one theory, though. I did see like a comment where somebody said that Rebecca had somebody asked about Violet's silver hair, and Rebecca quoted, and this was a direct quote. It says, "You will understand the reason, you will understand the reason for it. She will grapple with the reasons for it," and that was the only quote about her silver hair. I know. I know. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. But it's the fact that the silver. I'm thinking silver has something to do with the fact of how she was saved when she was a baby. She was really sick, and she was really sick.
I wonder if it's going to connect with her second signet or her dad or the history.
It's going to connect with her dad and her family history and her like medical and personal history.
You think it may be the half venin thing?
I think.
You think it could be the half venin theory?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It could be why. Honestly, because if you think about what was Tarn, one of his first quotes, one of his first things he said to her, "I know who and what you are, Violet Sorrengail."
That is true.
The what part?
Yeah. The what part is the interesting thing. Yeah. There. Yeah.
And that would make, like, honestly, I think it would be kind of cool. He chooses a rider that's half venin because he let his first rider go because they turned venin. or something happened. You know what I'm saying? Like that could be like such a cool thing.
Remember.
That could be like character growth with the dragon. Let's talk about that. Yeah. Like that would just be like a cool like character growth moment like with him. Like I don't know. That was the only news that I had other than our like once hopes for Onyx Storm.
For Onyx Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should probably do that next because, like, I kind of want to, like, I really want to make sure we get those in.
Yes.
To this live stream, and then if we have extra time, I have a few random, theories and stuff like not theories, but news stuff.
Okay.
My first and main one that I'm hoping for from Onyx Storm is, and keep in mind that these are hopes and expectations, but we're not gonna like get mad at Rebecca Yarros if she doesn't. She's the author; she can do what she wants. We may get mad as a reader in the moment and throw the book across the room or something dramatic, but it's okay to do that as a reader. Just don't actually go after the authors. Anyways, first thing, I want Xaden to actually go bad. Don't make him villain for no reason where it's just like this grapple and then nothing ever goes from it. Like, and she saves him before it gets too bad. Like, come on, let's go. Make
like, are you meaning like him actually attack her? Like, is that what you're thinking?
With any of it. You know me, like, I'm a Dark Man fan.
I know.
Like,
I know.
The better. Like,
I know.
Some Anakin. I need some Zuko.
I mean, it would definitely put a major twist on like enemies to lovers thing. Kind of like how, Serpent and the Wings of Night went from like enemies to lovers again. Like, I can see that.
Like. And because I feel like the higher price that Violet has to pay, like, it needs to be, the threat of him being venom needs to be, like, real. Otherwise, she's doing it for no reason because he's fine. And it, like, sets the like, high stakes, basically. So that's my first one. So,
I didn't really put mine, I didn't put mine on, like, what I want the most.
Okay, you don't have to.
Okay, you say through me. I'm like, I didn't do it. I was like, I didn't do that.
I was just remembering it because it's the first one I mentioned.
Okay.
They're not in any order. It is my greatest one, but out of these, it's just random after that.
Yeah.
I made a list, okay? This is off the top of my head.
Oh, I made an actual list.
Oh, like, you're ahead of me.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be winging it, okay?
Hey, that works. Okay, so, probably one, like, I am you know how I can sometimes be, not oblivious, but like I dive into the story, so I don't look for hints and plot points and all of that. I don't always look for that kind of stuff. I just read it and let the surprises come naturally. I don't try to call it ahead of time too much. Like, that's just the type of reader that I am. But so it's like, I am not going to dissect Iron Flame to try to figure out what her second signet is. So I need some kind of confirmation as to what her signet is. Her second one.
I can totally get that.
Like, I just want her to be able to figure out what it is, and then have that whole other, like, minor plot of her trying to figure that out and balance that out with her current one. And it's like, on top of the fact that she's trying to save Xaden and all these other things, and yeah,
pile it on.
Yeah.
By the way, is this just the third book, or is this the final book? Do we know?
This is just book 3. There's 2 more after this, I think.
Okay. Like, I didn't know, so I was like, I had to ask. Okay. Well, while you're looking that up.
Yeah.
My next one is, I really want more war and fighting and, like, less college stuff.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, it's like, we need to kind of escalate things, and so I don't know how she's going to do the third year, but
There's 5 total, so there's 2 more after this one.
Okay, good. I don't have to panic thinking it's over.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna go into it expecting some classroom scenes, but I'm kind of done with the classroom. Like, let's go to war, please. Yeah. Let's go to war.
Yeah.
So
I want them to kind of graduate a little bit.
Blow your war horn.
Yeah.
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 So.
I want more knowledge on the Venom, but from their perspective. I don't want the skewed evil villain knowledge from like Basgiath and all that. I want the Venom from their perspective, like not like legitly their perspective, like their POV, but like I want more knowledge. I want more about them, but from the Venom. Like, whether that's talking to Jack and making him more of, like, a main character rather than a side character. And, like, not him being a main character, but, like, a main side character. Like, making him, like, making him coming back actually beneficial. Other than just being a pain in my butt. You know? Like, he needs to have a purpose for being brought back. And that was, like, a 2-in-1. So, I didn't intend for that to be a 2-in-1, but that kind of became a 2-in-1, you know.
So that actually kind of goes well with my next one. Is I was actually starting to type up my list too, because I kind of want to know it and then examine afterwards and see how many we hit. I actually heard this from Steven. I can't remember his whole username on Instagram, but we love watching him. One of his that he brought up, and he did it as a joke, but I thought it would be, it's not like a must, but it would be cool to see if it did happen, is like Xaden and Jack getting close and going on this like bro quest to like solve the villain problem or go evil together, like either direction, whether they're doing it for good or for evil.
Giving
like,
Jack,
let them go on a journey and do some
giving
stuff.
Jack a purpose.
Yeah, and that goes along with what you said, is like Jack having a purpose. So
honestly, it would be so cool if they were to take Jack, who is an annoying pain in the butt in the first book, into somebody that we appreciate and have respect for by the end.
That would be a huge, big thing.
That would be really cool to see.
Yep.
Okay. I want Andarna to be more center stage as a character, and be more of a key to the plot. There's theories about her being more important. It feels like she's thrown in because, you know, originally, like I did hear this in an interview, that the publishers wanted Andarna to be the only dragon, but Rebecca wanted Tarn, and so her solution was to do both originally. And it's like, but like the thing is that she's now grown up. Spoiler alert, by the way. Spoiler.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, if you don't know, it's your own fault.
Yeah.
No offense to anybody here.
Yeah.
We just ranting about spoiling.
Well, yeah, you know, it's just, that's life.
We're not spoiling the book that's coming out. We're spoiling the book that's been out.
We're spoiling the one that's been out for a hot minute, so. But it's like she's grown up a little bit. And it's like,
I'm kind of tired of teenage Andarna.
Yeah.
And I'm ready for like
mature Andarna. Like, and we know that she's been waiting a very long time to hatch. And it's like, you know, and there's hints at her being part of the solution. And it's like, I want more of that. You know, I need there to be a reason for why Violet has 2 dragons, other than to try to make her a little bit unique. And, you know, we know that she's not one of those OP characters that solves every problem, because she has struggles. She wasn't perfect right off the bat. She wasn't physically built to be a writer, but yet she had to work her butt off, and has to have like what do you call it? Like, I can't think of the right word. Like, the thinking of like the saddle. Like, she has to have, like, there's a word.
The special saddle, I can't remember what it's called.
But like, accommodations for that. And so it's like, she's not just this OP Captain Marvel type character that can solve every problem like that. And that's where it's like, her. I felt like her having 2 dragons started out that way. And I was afraid that it was going to go that way, but it didn't. And I was so thankful and happy that it didn't. And it's like, but now Andarna's an adult. We need for there to be a purpose there. Yeah. And it's like...
And also another thing I wanted to add to you and what you said about Violet having, like, not having everything perfect, you know?
Yeah.
What I like too in Iron Flame is she was trying to translate that one book thing, and she kept failing at it and kept getting it wrong.
Yeah.
And when she thought she had it right, it was still wrong. Yeah. And she fails a lot, and she learns lessons, and she has to work to overcome things even beyond just like what she overcame in the first one.
Yeah.
And that's why, as a character, she's one of my favorite female characters, because of the way that she's written and how she's so like not you know, not like you said, not like perfect, and like she has struggles and lessons and things like that. So yeah. But I definitely see the idea of Adarna needing like more of a purpose and stuff like that. So
like
beyond just like, oh, she has a second dragon, and like she kind of like she had a bigger purpose in the first book, and like in the second book, it felt like she kind of fell.
Well, she was like in she was in like a transition stage, and so that's where she wasn't. That Adarna's character would kind of pulled back a little bit, and wasn't the main focus. And it's like I feel like there are little things like that, like Jack being brought back and Darna being a thing. There's little things like that I'm like, that seem like very minute details, like not super important, but it's like there has to be a reason for that other than just because. Because if it was just if you just brought a character back, like with Jack, just to bring a character back, bring back a fan favorite.
Liam, we're looking at you, buddy.
Yeah. But so I'm like, you know, like, if you're going to bring Jack back, you better make him worth it. Anyway, I'm back on the Jack thing because I just, anyway. But Adarna as well. Like I want to know more about her type of dragon. The type of dragon that she is. And if that were to include, like, information that her father has written, that goes into my next one, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah. Okay, what was your next one? What, did you mention your next one at all? Or have I just been yapping this whole time?
No, I am flying by the seat of my pants at this point, honey. I have no list or anything.
Okay.
I kind of want some communication, like Xaden and Violet to come to this place of good communication.
Yes.
However, I don't think it's going to happen because he's kind of turning into a Venom right now. So if it doesn't happen, it has a bigger justification than last time.
Yeah.
Last time, there was really no reason or excuse other
just
than
their
they
distance.
were just being dumb. And that's
it was just their distance. Yeah. That was like the only reason.
Yeah. And so this time, I can forgive it bigger than I did in Iron Flame, but it'd be nice if they come to a good place of like communication. And I honestly, I really want to see what they see in each other. Like, what they do when they hang out and what they see in each other beyond just they want to jump each other's bones every 2 seconds. Like, why are you guys actually in love?
Yeah.
And what do you love about this person? And it's a good time to explore it, too. If she's willing to sacrifice a lot to save him, then why?
Yeah.
Why is she willing to go that far to save him? Like, I feel like it's a perfect time to explore that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and something to piggyback off of that, which I hope I can remember because my brain just went blank. Yeah, it's not there.
It left you?
Yeah, it's gone. That whole thought.
I hate when that happens.
It's just, it's gone. Yeah.
You said like, well, something to think about, or I don't know. I can't even remember
it's
what
not
you said now either.
It's not even there. Like it's a vapor in the wind.
It's yeeted out of your brain. Yeah.
Yeah, it just completely yeeted itself out. Anyway.
I hate when that happens.
It was a good thought too. I remember thinking like, man, this is gonna connect with it, and it's, oh my gosh, I hate when that happens.
I know, it's like the old timer sayings. It's like, well, if you forget a thought, it must have not been important. That must have not been.
It was an important thought.
It's an important thought.
It was an important thought. Oh god. Okay. I want more information on Violet's father, other than the fact that he died because of sadness over losing a child, even though he had 2 other children. I'm sorry. I need to calm down. This is where I need that TikTok meme. It's like, I need to calm down. Like the little girl, like, oh my god, you have to find it. It's funny because she's like screaming. She's like, "That's not fair!" And then she stops herself. She's like, "What? You know what? I need to calm down." Like,
that's funny. I actually think that would be my next one too, is like I want more family history stuff and like explanations for little details like that doesn't quite add up or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there could be something more with Brennan. Like I'm not mad if there isn't.
Or the mother.
But it would be nice if there was. And the mom too. And the dad. Like pretty much every family member could have more done with it, and I would like to see some more family history stuff. I don't necessarily want Violet to be half Venom. I don't know. It depends on how that's done, if that's the case.
Yeah.
But I just want more, especially like you said with the dad. Like, how do you die from sadness? Unless you're Padme in episode 3, how do you die from sadness?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and there is even in that one, there's like speculation that Palpatine is who killed her. Like, even there's speculation on that part, too. But it's like, you know, and that kind of leads into my next one, too. It's like her whole family and her whole family history just seems so vague. And it's like, of all people, why bring the brother back? I get it, he's in charge of this whole thing, but the whole rebellion or whatever. But the fact that he's been brought, his return needs to be impactful in some way. And I say impactful because I would not hate the idea of him being the bad guy behind everything.
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't mind it at all.
It's like the Jack thing.
Yeah.
When you have to bring them back for a purpose. And so far, Brennan hasn't really had he's the leader. Yeah. But what was the purpose in that twist? Because it really didn't kind of.
You know what would be a big twist? If the mom was actually the good guy and the brother was actually the bad guy, and the good guy is the one that dies. Yeah. And the big plot twist is that the brother betraying her, and instead of saving Xaden, he. Anyway.
Yeah, that thought was going an interesting direction. So, my next one. Oh my god,
this book's gonna be brutal. This book is gonna be brutal.
Thank you for saying the word brutal because I just.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm sorry, and people can kill me for this, but I need some death. I need a really. Good,
I honestly almost put that on my list. I almost put a character death on my list because, you know.
I feel like this book needs to have an impact, and we need a death that has an impact.
She did.
I don't have.
She did hint. Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. I was just saying I don't have specifics on who I want it to be necessarily because I'm going to be sad. I want to be sad, and I want there to be some sort of impact on who it could be. And you were going to say that there were some hints at stuff, so.
I think there's more than one person that's going to die. I don't know who, but it's going to be multiple people.
I think there's a possibility Taryn could die.
I think so too, especially when she said that the song that she would fit with Taryn is Long Live from Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift song.
When you were,
yes.
I don't know if you were playing it for me or
I sent it to you to play, yeah. But the lyrics, and the bridge. Yep. The bridge is the key part of that song that makes me think that something's going to happen to Taryn.
Yeah.
But
I can also see possibilities where
but she also
one of his things was.
But the thing to keep in mind too is she can't fly, and Darna won't be able to ever have a flyer because of the issues that they had earlier on. So I don't know if she could even kill Taryn.
Yeah, that's the thing. But another suggestion, it could be because I know one of the Steven guy I was watching, he kind of wants Dane to have a redemption, and he could see Dane sacrificing himself for some good cause.
Yeah, to save her.
Stuff. Yeah, to save her or something like that.
I know it's honestly a Dane redemption was the last one on my list, but I put in parentheses not with Violet. I don't want it to be one of those love triangle pop up love triangle situations. Dane, in her eyes, has always been a best friend. She's never really seen, at least I remember, she didn't really see him as a love interest, per se. And it's I want him to be able to stand on his own and have a redemption that he deserves, but that's not based purely on the fact that he needs the love of Violet. He doesn't need, I want him to have a redemption arc where he becomes the man he's meant to be, without needing a romance added into it. Because I feel with romanticities, everyone has a romance. In ACOTAR, you see that. Everyone has a romance partner. Dane doesn't need a romance. Dane needs to stand up, be confident in who he is, and not be a puppet for all the other people, and be less of a rule follower and stand on his own. That's what Dane needs. Dane needs a redemption arc where he can stand on his own, make his own decisions, and not be used as a puppet.
I can totally agree with that.
Because we saw that during, we saw him essentially be a puppet for that one guy that was torturing her in Iron Flame. You know, he's just a puppet for them. And it's Dane needs to come to that point and realize that Violet is not... He's never going to have Violet, and that's okay. And that he is his own person.
Yeah. I totally agree with all of that. So, so do you actually have any more?
No, that was my last one.
Okay. I might have a quick question which may follow up with another possibility.
Okay.
Did we ever see the guy who tortured her get justice for anything?
I think he was. I thought
not right.
I thought he was.
Was he killed?
I thought maybe. I can't remember. Who was it?
I can't remember either. If not, he needs to have justice done to him for what he did. But if he already has, then I just forgot about it because there was a lot happening in the the last chapters. There was Varish, yes. Did he die?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Deceased.
Well, either way.
Yeah, he was at the Empyrean fandom wiki says that he says status deceased, that he was stabbed by a violet. So
good. So we already
got his
that.
comeuppance.
Okay, I was like, because if not, we need that moment. But never mind.
I also kind of want. I kind of want Violet to make peace with her mom in the sense come to terms and to be at peace with how her mom has treated them, and just to not have animosity towards her mom, because I feel like, honestly, is it just me, or does the whole mom sacrifice almost seem glossed over? It just felt like it was rushed through. It felt like genuine in the moment, but I just
felt like it was,
or at least by readers anyway.
Not really rushed, but just really spontaneous. I think is a good word for it. Like unexpectedly just showing up and just happening all of a sudden.
And it's been maybe I should have reread these two before Onyx Storm come down.
Wondering that about myself.
But you know what? I'm gonna reread these at some point too, so I can reread all three of them anyway before book 4. But did she ever really? Because I know in the moment she grieved her mom, but did she ever really have a moment where she just grieved the loss of her mom? Did she ever really have that moment? Remember. I can't remember.
I don't remember.
If she hasn't, then that's kind of what I want. I want her to just. I want the mom's true intentions to be revealed, whether that's through journals or whatever, and just, I want her to be at peace and know that her mom had somewhat of a good intention, because her mom wouldn't have died for them if she didn't have good intentions as a mother. If she was genuinely a horrible mother, she would have walked away and let them figure it out on their own. But she didn't.
Yeah.
She stayed there. And it's I don't know. It's just Violet's family is something I really want to get more of in this book. I want more.
I can totally see that. Yeah.
I want more of that. I want more knowledge about her history, about why she was sick. What did she have? How did she get over it? I don't think she's have venom, but I think they used something to do with the venom to heal the mom while she was pregnant. And so as a result, it caused issues with Violet. I don't think Violet's truly venom, but I do think she has venom tendencies because something happened with the mom when she was pregnant, and as a result, or the dad's venom was turning venom, and when they had Violet, there were issues. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's I don't know. Yeah. It's just there's so many questions about her family that I'm just I need answers to that, please.
Yeah. I can totally get that.
Rebecca, please.
So, we have 9 minutes left until I have to go.
Okay.
And we have to end the stream. So, I can touch on a few of these little points.
Yep.
If we wanted. I know one was kind of just about Rebecca Yarros. I remember the title was kind of interesting, but I can't find the title of the article anymore. But it's kind of like how she deserves a vacation and she's going to go on one with her husband. And I feel like it's true because ever since she did Fourth Wing, she's been rapidly releasing these.
Yes.
George R. Martin needs to take some notes from her, and so she kind of needs that. But apparently, so Amazon MGM Studios is developing the Empyrean series, so Fourth Wing and all that for TV, and then Netflix is adapting one of her romance novels. Apparently, it's called In the Likely Event.
I'd like to read some of her romance novels. I've never been a romance novel reader, but it makes me interested in kind of maybe reading one at some point.
Yeah, we should do that together sometime.
Yeah.
But apparently she was an army brat, and so I actually like she also married a husband who served in the army
Oh
for
wow.
22 years.
I didn't
So
know that.
she would write when she was like in Afghanistan with him, or he was deployed to Afghanistan, and he was seriously injured, and she needed to process
Oh
some
wow.
emotions and stuff. So she has a military oh, she has a military romance. Like I'm all over that, but and it like for me it's kind of a cool concept because you can
Yeah.
tell in Fourth Wing when she deals with their version of the army,
Yeah.
it's so detailed and
Yeah. I
realistic
didn't
it
think about
feels
that, but
like it
that's
really
cool.
could exist.
Yeah.
And like that's why you can see her both as an army brat coming from
Real
that
life
kind of family and then
experience,
married
yeah.
into it. Yeah, like army experience kind of stuff. And so
I think I knew
basically
that.
I
I
just
think
kind of
I
like
knew that
that.
her husband was in the military, but I don't think it triggered with me just how many years he was in the military. I knew that he had
I
some
didn't
kind of
do any of
military
that. So
experience, but it just didn't really
yeah,
trigger with me how much. I didn't realize he was in the army for that long.
I did not either. First time I didn't even read the article before I was finding it out now.
Uh,
So the next one is interesting, and again, anything to do with this TV series, like I don't believe it till it's
oh
actually
yeah,
there.
yeah. I don't
But
either.
supposedly there's a cast rumor, from an Australian, um, star. His name is Josh Houston, and he's from Heartbreak High. I don't
Hmm.
know what that is. I don't know him, but supposedly he's been cast as the major role of Zayden, and I
Hmm.
don't really like his picture so far. So I'm hoping this is not
Is
true,
it a
but
football
it's
player?
like he is a TV star from the
Oh,
TV at like
I'm getting a
Heartbreak
Josh
High.
Houston.
Josh,
The Josh Houston I found is a football player. So,
H E
Australia.
U. It's a
Oh,
weird spell.
different Houston.
EUSTON. Yeah, it's a weird spelling.
I was gonna say he looks awfully pale from the descriptions that I've been hearing of Zayden. So yeah, that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I could see I don't know. I expected Zayden to be bulkier, but I can see I don't hate it. I don't know.
So supposedly he popped a dragon in his Instagram bio, and Fourth Wing is obviously about dragon
Oh,
riders, so that was one of
yeah.
the hints. Um, and he is fresh off Dune Prophecy. Is he the main character in Dune?
He might be.
Oh,
Let me look and
or
see
maybe he's a
his.
side character in there. Um,
It's from like a movie called Mission Revoked.
hmm. So supposedly, for Violet, Mackenzie Foy
Mm-hmm.
is a cast for her. Um, and oh my god, she played Renesmee in Twilight.
Oh, that would be good.
I can see it. She's like,
Yeah.
what am I calling it?
Uh,
Like delicate, kind of.
I've
So I can
always
kind of
loved her.
see with
Yes, I
delicate.
could see that. Yeah, she's very
Yeah.
like more of a petite kind of delicate type. Yeah, I think that would be good. I would like that.
So other rumors is that potentially, for Zayden, Michael B. Jordan is the guy producing it, but
Mm-hmm.
there's potential that he could actually cast himself in a leading role as well, which does happen sometimes. There's a lot of movies where that happens. Dances with Wolves, like I didn't know Kevin Costner, he's the main star in it. I
Yeah.
didn't know he actually directed the
Is that
movie at the same time. So,
like I'm thinking maybe like a Bodhi?
hmm.
Bodhi, maybe? Did they say who he was gonna cast? Who he could potentially cast
Oh,
himself as?
Zayden. Zayden.
Oh, Zayden.
He's another possibility for Zayden. Yeah, I was like,
Okay.
Bodhi, what? I got confused for a second.
Hmm.
So,
I
which I
wouldn't.
don't know who Michael B. Jordan
But
is.
see, that's the
So,
thing is
um,
that other than like key features like tattoos in books or like Violet's silver hair or the fact that she's really
he's from
petite,
Creed.
I don't make visuals of what the characters look like when I read. I make visuals of the settings and like what, those kind of things. Like that's what I like. I build settings and the places up in my head. I don't build what the characters look like in my head. So it's like when people are arguing back and forth for like, oh, this would be a good for Zayden, this wouldn't, this whatever. I'm like, they all look great
Mhm.
to me. Like they all look fine. It's
I
like how they act. That's where I'm like, if they can pull off the character, and act good, we're good.
I know for me, I'm kind of like, I'm not like, I picture things very specifically, but if it's close, then that matters to me. But I know she described him as having like tawny colored skin, so he's darker skin, so he's more tannish, but I still didn't picture him like African American per se. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
I was thinking more. I know a lot of people were thinking like tawny is in like Indian kind of.
Yeah.
Like
that's kind
Asian,
of the vibe I've been
Indian
getting.
kind of vibe. Which I wouldn't hate that. You know.
Depending on the person, I just want him to be hot. Like, Zayden has to be looking, and if I don't find the actor attractive, I'm going to riot. Like, that is something that will actually make me mad.
I did picture him as being a bulkier. Just for the simple fact he's a very well-known, he rides a very well-known dragon. And he's a dragon rider, so they're bulky. You know, like that's and it needs to be. He needs to be bulky enough that there's a significant difference between him and Violet. Violet needs to look tiny compared to him.
Like he also needs to be like intimidating, like the size.
To be there. So. If they can pull off those other factors, then I think whoever they choose will be fine. As long as they can.
I just kind of want it to happen. So
yeah.
All right, well, I think it's time for me to go.
Yes.
So it was honestly super fun going over like
too. Yeah.
All
I'm excited.
Onyx Storm things that we want. I'm so excited and ready for Onyx Storm.
Me too. All right.
I have not too much left to read, so I'm hoping to finish in the next couple of days.
I don't want to stop this in the middle of a book a second time, so it's like I don't know
how you're gonna handle that situation.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
I may just wait and read Onyx Storm in February. So that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, okay.
All right, read it whenever I get done. So it may just be a few days behind but yeah. All right. Discord is in the description. So if you want to chat, find a safe, welcoming place to chat where you're not going to get spoilers or trolls or whatever. It's below. So.
Yep. Let us know how your reading is going for the month. And please like and subscribe. We're getting there with subscribers. So
yeah. All right.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.